There was a wise teacher who had a student. They spent a lot of time together, learning and growing. One day, a new student came to learn from the teacher. As days passed, the new student and the teacher started spending their most of the time together. The first student saw this and began to feel left out. He noticed that the teacher was teaching the new student more things in a shorter time. This made the first student very sad and confused. He couldn't understand why the teacher was doing this, as he had been there longer and thought he should be learning more. The first student watched as the new student learned more and more each day. He felt like he was not getting as much attention from the teacher anymore. This made him feel very sad and left out. He thought a lot about why the teacher was doing this. He couldn't figure it out and it bothered him a lot. He felt like the teacher liked the new student better and that he was not important anymore. One day, he couldn't keep his feelings inside any longer. He decided he needed to talk to the teacher. He wanted to know why the teacher was teaching the new student more than him, even though he had been there longer. The first student went to the teacher feeling very upset. He asked, "I have been with you longer than the new student. Why do you teach him more than you teach me?" The teacher did not answer right away. He was quiet for a little bit. This made the first student even more curious and a bit nervous about what the teacher would say. After a short silence, the teacher finally spoke. He said, "Before I answer your question, I want you to listen to a story." The first student was surprised. He didn't expect a story, but he agreed to listen. He hoped the story would help him understand why things were the way they were. Once a traveler was walking on a very hot day. He became very thirsty and started looking for water. After some time, he found a well. However, when he looked into the well, he noticed there was no bucket or rope to draw water with. He searched around the well but found nothing that could help him get the water. Feeling disappointed and still thirsty, he decided to move on, hoping to find another source of water. Not long after the first traveler left, another traveler arrived at the same well. He was also very thirsty. Upon discovering there was no bucket or rope, he looked around and found a bucket nearby. Then, he noticed some long grass growing close to the well. He gathered the grass and twisted it into a long rope. With the rope and bucket, he managed to draw water from the well. He drank the water, quenched his thirst, and continued on his journey, satisfied with his efforts. After telling the story, the teacher asked the first student, "Who do you think was more thirsty, the first traveler or the second one?" The student quickly answered, "The second one." The teacher smiled gently and explained, "The second traveler was indeed more thirsty, but not just for water. His real thirst was for finding a solution. He saw the same problem as the first traveler but chose to work hard to solve it. His effort to quench his thirst shows his determination." The teacher continued, "Like the second traveler, your fellow student's thirst for knowledge is great. He works hard to learn, not because I teach him more, but because he seeks more to learn." The first student began to understand. The teacher was not favoring the new student. It was the new student's hard work and effort that made the difference. The first student realized that he had been waiting for knowledge to come to him, rather than seeking it out like the second traveler sought water. The story tells us about the grind, the hustle, the sheer stubbornness of getting up each time life lands a punch. It's kind of lesson. No sugarcoating. Just the raw truth that the world doesn't owe us anything. We've got to fight for every inch of what we want. Dreaming isn't enough. It's about getting your hands dirty, about the struggle, the persistence. It's about facing each day with the kind of determination that scares the hell out of the ordinary. We're all thirsty travelers at some well, and the world is not about to hand us a rope and a bucket. We've got to fashion our own from whatever's lying around and pull up that water ourselves. So the lesson is clear. Life is not about the hand you're dealt, but how you play your cards. It's about the hustle, the fight, and the stubbornness to keep going when everything else says stop.